His potassium just spiked. He's crashing. Get me the crash cart now!
Security's hands closed around her arms before she finished the sentence. "You don't belong in this wing," the guard barked, dragging Nurse Odessa Kane toward the elevator. She twisted her wrist free and jabbed a finger at the monitor. His potassium just spiked. "He's crashing." Nobody listened. The billionaire's family stood behind velvet rope, watching a stranger get thrown out of a private suite. Then the machine screamed. A code blue alarm ripped through the floor. The old man's daughter froze mid-step. The chief physician spun toward the bed. The guard's fingers loosened, just enough for Odessa to wrench free and grab the crash cart. Nobody in that room knew she'd read this exact chart 11 years ago, under a different last name. Odessa shoved the guard's shoulder and lunged for the cart. "Get her out of here," the daughter shouted, pressing her back against the wall. The chief physician grabbed Odessa's arm. "You're not cleared for this patient." "Then clear me in 10 seconds, or watch him die," Odessa snapped. The monitor line spiked into a jagged sprint. Numbers climbed past the red threshold. Odessa yanked the cart drawer open and pulled the syringe before anyone could stop her. "Calcium gluconate. Now, or his heart stops in 90 seconds. The physician's eyes dropped to her hands. They didn't shake. He pressed the vial into her palm himself. Odessa drove the needle into the IV port and counted under her breath. At 60 seconds, the jagged line folded into something steady again. The old man's chest lifted on its own. The guard's hand fell away from her sleeve entirely. The daughter pressed both palms over her mouth. "How did you know that fast?" Odessa didn't answer. She checked the name clipped to the bed rail, and her stomach dropped through the floor. Thaddeus Wren. She hadn't heard that name in 11 years, not since a hospital 3 states away turned her own mother away from its ICU doors over a declined insurance claim. Thaddeus Wren had signed the discharge order himself. She remembered the signature because she'd stared at it for 6 hours in a waiting room, begging someone to override it. Her mother died 4 days later. Now his heart beat again because of her hands. The chief physician cleared his throat. "Ms. Kane, I need your credentials." "I don't have privileges here," Odessa said. "I was visiting my aunt down the hall. I heard the alarm." Thaddeus Wren's eyes opened halfway. He turned his head toward the woman standing over him, and recognition surfaced through 11 years of dust. "Kane," he rasped. Odessa Kane. The daughter, Greer Wren, froze at the foot of the bed. "Dad, you know her?" 11 years ago, Thaddeus said. "A woman came to my hospital in Ohio. Her daughter begged me to admit her mother into the ICU. I was CEO then. I signed the discharge order myself." Greer's hand found the bed rail to steady herself. "Why would you do that? Her claim came back declined, and I had a board call about quarterly margins in 20 minutes, Thaddeus said. "I signed without reading past the balance." Odessa's throat tightened. Her name was Rosalind. She taught 3rd grade for 31 years. You took 3 of her last 4 days. Greer turned on her father. "You let her mother die over paperwork, and she still saved your life tonight?" Thaddeus didn't answer. His hand trembled toward the chart. "I own the hospital that turned her away," he said. "I bought it in a merger 4 years ago. I didn't even remember the name until tonight." "You own the paperwork trail too," Odessa said. "The declined claim, the override, all of it, buried under 3 corporate restructurings. I want to give you the hospital," Thaddeus said. "Not as a gift. As proof. Proof that what happened to your mother stops happening to someone else's." Greer's voice climbed. "Dad, that's a $200 million asset handed to a woman we met 20 minutes ago. She's not a stranger," Thaddeus said. "She's the only person in this room who did her job right tonight." The door swung open. The chief of staff, silver-haired and sharp-eyed, stopped mid-stride at the sight of the empty syringe and the nurse who wasn't supposed to be there. "I got a code blue alert for Wren," she said, "and now I'm hearing my own security team tried to drag his rescuer out the door." The guard shifted his weight. "Ma'am, she wasn't cleared. I was following protocol." "Protocol didn't tell you to drag a nurse off a coding patient," the chief of staff said. The treating physician stepped in without being asked. She identified the crash before the monitor confirmed it. If she'd waited for paperwork, he doesn't make it to the ICU. The chief of staff turned to Thaddeus. "Is there something you'd like to add? I've never known you to go this quiet." "She saved my life tonight," Thaddeus said. "And 11 years ago, my hospital let her mother die from a decision I made between meetings." The guard's face burned. He slipped out without being told twice. "What exactly does the paperwork show?" the chief of staff asked. "A declined claim, flagged for manual review," Thaddeus said. "My signature overriding the ICU admission 12 minutes later. I never opened the file. I read the balance at the bottom, $340 under the cutoff, and I signed." $340, Odessa repeated. "That's what my mother was worth to your spreadsheet. It shouldn't have been anyone's number," Thaddeus said. "I built the system that made it one, and then I looked away." Greer's knees buckled into the chair by the window. "The board will fight you on releasing this." "Let them fight," Thaddeus said. "I already died once tonight protecting that silence. I'm done." The door opened again, faster. Cassius Vane strode in, phone still pressed to his ear, cutting the call short the moment he saw Thaddeus upright. He straightened his cufflinks, unhurried, like the room owed him its full attention. "Mr. Wren coded and nobody called me first," he said. "Unacceptable." Greer stiffened. "That's legal counsel." "Why does he already know?" "Because someone on this floor called him before they called me," Thaddeus said, eyes narrowing. Cassius's gaze slid to Odessa and stopped there, cataloging her scrubs, her name badge, her presence, like an auditor pricing a liability. "And who let unauthorized staff into a privileged conversation?" "She saved my life," Thaddeus said. "Then she can be thanked in the hallway," Cassius said. He turned back to Thaddeus, voice dropping into something practiced and smooth. "You're on cardiac medication. Anything you decide tonight can be challenged as impaired judgment. That protects you." "It protects the company," Odessa said. "Say what you mean." Cassius's mouth curved, thin and unbothered. "I don't need to explain corporate strategy to a nurse who wandered into the right room at the right time." Greer's head snapped toward him. "Did you just call her lucky?" "I called it a liability wearing a sympathetic face," Cassius said. He pulled a folded printout from his jacket and set it on the tray beside the empty syringe. A termination memo, Odessa's name already typed at the top, dated for tomorrow. "I drafted this on the way up. Unauthorized presence in a patient suite during a cardiac event. Any hospital in this network would honor it without a second call." The physician stared at the paper like it had appeared from nowhere. Greer's mouth fell open. "You typed my name into a firing memo," Odessa said, "before you knew if he'd survive the room." "I typed contingencies," Cassius said. "That's my job. Sentiment isn't." Thaddeus's voice dropped low enough to be dangerous. "Say that again, so my daughter hears exactly what kind of man has run my legal department for 11 years. I protect this family from people like her," Cassius said, nodding at Odessa without looking at her. "A story, a grudge, and a payout dressed up as justice. I've buried 3 of these before breakfast." Thaddeus reached for the memo and tore it once, cleanly, down the center. "You buried mine too," he said. 11 years of it. Tonight, that ends." Cassius's composure finally cracked at the edges. "Warren, Thaddeus, one night. Sleep on this. Don't gut the company because of a hallucination and a nurse with a grudge." "Say her name," Odessa said. Cassius blinked. "Excuse me? You've called me a liability, a stranger, a grudge. Say her mother's name. Rosalind Kane. Say it." Cassius's jaw worked once. Nothing came out. The chief of staff lifted her phone, already recording. "For the record, Mr. Vane drafted a retaliatory termination against the nurse who performed the resuscitation prior to patient outcome being confirmed stable." Cassius's eyes cut toward the phone, then toward the door, calculating an exit that no longer existed. "I'm not asking you to fire him tonight," Odessa said, and the room braced for her to ask for something smaller. "I'm asking the board to strip every bonus tied to the denial policy, retroactive to the year it launched, and I'm asking him to stand in front of the families it hurt and read each name himself, on camera, before this hospital network runs another ad about patient care." Cassius's voice thinned. "That's not restitution, that's a public execution." "No," Thaddeus said, "an execution ends fast. This doesn't end until the last file closes." He turned to the chief of staff. "Security escorts Mr. Vane out of this building tonight. Same as they tried to escort her. Let him feel exactly what that walk sounds like." The guard reappeared at the door, the same one who dragged Odessa toward the elevator 20 minutes earlier. This time his hand closed on a different arm. Cassius pulled back once, uselessly. "Thaddeus, 20 years. 11 of them spent burying a dead woman's name, Thaddeus said. Walk him out. 3 weeks later, Odessa sat beside her aunt's bed, scrolling her phone during visiting hours. A headline crossed her screen. Wren Health Systems suspends denial policy network-wide. Former counsel named in federal compliance filing. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unlisted number. This is Thaddeus. The ethics board held its first session this morning. Vane read 11 names into the record as part of his settlement terms. His hands shook on the third one. Rosalind's was the first. Odessa typed back, "Good. Let them shake." A week later, an envelope arrived with no return address. Inside sat the original discharge order, her mother's name typed at the top. Thaddeus's signature at the bottom, stamped in red. Policy voided. Case Study 1. Mandatory training. All facilities. A handwritten line beneath it. She goes first. Every session, so no one forgets what the number used to hide. Odessa held the page a long time, thumb tracing her mother's name. She turned down the job at the hospital that now bore a debt she never asked for. She stayed in her small critical care unit, where nobody knew her story, where she could still hear a monitor change pitch before anyone else in the room caught it. But every month, a call confirmed the same thing had happened again. A man once powerful enough to bury a name, standing in front of a board, saying it out loud instead. She never asked him to stop.